Hey, welcome to the process. My name is Dr. John Bush. I continue with my video lessons, a very deep dive into metrics that I generated from 2015 to 22, looking at ADP predictions and how those end up at so-called end of season. This is RBs. Part 6. So I've done the first 4 were receivers. Part 5 is RBs. This is RBs as well. So we will continue this journey here. Abbreviations: preseason, end of season, fantasy points per game. Taking preseason ADP based predictions of running backs in this case, and seeing how that ended up from 2015 to 22. Got the spreadsheet, used pivot tables, certainly hit with the box and whisker and look at the populations. And then if those populations look intriguing, I will apply the analysis of variance, the ANOVA, and I will then test if the ANOVA is significant. I will use the 2-key HSD testing to see which groups are statistically significantly different from the others, i.e. to help us use those. And then I will use chi-square one time in this whole series, and I will feature current ADPs. And for 2023, try to apply some of this data a little bit. Okay, so we talked to RB1s. This is RB2s. This is grouping the team level RBs by the average that the public sees for all the RBs for that year. Okay, and so we spread those out top to bottom. We take the top third, that's the top, the mid, and then the bottom, and then ask the question, predicted RB2s in this case, what happened to them from each population, or you could consider each treatment group here, and just see, is there anything going on we need to and can use, or is it just random and we should not even worry about RB2s and what the public thinks of the teams and any of that. So is this real or not? You have seen so far that it is real. The public is telling us things. We just need to listen. And when we look at the end of the season fantasy points per game RB2s from team running back crews with high, mid, and low preseason ADP average. You need to read that a couple times, but hopefully you've seen the lessons, you understand. So I'm trying to get a handle. What does the public think? And then from those populations, what are the RB2s predicted? Right? I don't know the end of the season. Always we have to predict RB2's preseason. What happened in terms of fantasy points per game? In other words, what did they deliver to us? Any difference, or just ignore this data? Well, you can see right away that the green is the top third of the league, so about 10 or so. Mid and bottom, you can see the numbers as far as overall the 50% of the crew of the RB2s are tended to be higher than the mid and the bottom. So there is some suggestion that there may be something we need to pay attention to, but we'll look and see. And when we look at the ANOVA, guess what? Even though it's suggestive, statistically, we have to say that all these are the same for RB2s. That is not what we saw with RB1s. Go see part 5. So this is a case where the old boxing whisker looks suspicious, but the stats say you have to ignore that. That's the toughest thing because we want some advantage, right? We do all this work, gather this data, I plow this, make these figures, and I want to have something intriguing and important, but we have to walk away from it. And again, I don't know where you're getting your stuff, but I wonder how, I mean, I don't think people are using stats at all. And would they still walk away from it? Even if it looks suspicious, you got to say, nope, nothing here to see, folks. So to then continue the journey, I went ahead and looked at uh, the RB1s, and I looked at the quarterback. Okay. Previously in the wide receivers, the public rated quarterbacks from the teams, that gave us some insight and statistically was something important. And you'll have to see that on what we could look at. So we gained some advantage there. When I gathered the population of RB1s over this 8 years in the lens of quarterbacks, nothing was, I mean, I'm not even going to test that. Okay. It looks the same to me. Okay. There's nothing here that we should say, okay, uh, and maybe since RBs can rush and pass catch, there may not be enough interaction between what the public is thinking about the quarterback versus the RBs. In other words, there's nothing predictive here. That's fine. We walk away from it. But now we know. See, negative data is not bad because we don't have to worry. In other words, oh, I got an RB1 here, but the quarterback sucks. What should I do? Ignore it. If that's your only evidence, the quarterback, that is, looks to me like it's not worth. People always talk about Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill. Okay, Tannehill's going to chart at the bottom of the league. It's irrelevant. This data says ignore that. Great. Now I can do it. What about RB2s? Same story. So I don't spend a lot of time uh, talking about the RB2s and the ones with quarterbacks. Don't have to worry about that. So that is great, wonderful. And let's see, what am I doing? This is the next one is now I am changing, going to, oh, this is tight ends. Tight ends, is there something going on with the quarterback and tight ends? The answer is no. Nothing there to be thoughtful about. And just to look, didn't see much going on here. Yearly distribution, there was a little bit of suggestion, but nothing. You can see is a little bit, okay, a little bit, 36 and 23, a little bit suspicious. And in this case, what was the expected value if there was no difference, right? So I looked at the expected value of quarterbacks perceived high, middle, and low and used the chi-square test. And lo and behold, the chi-square said that what we observed, even though it was a little suspicious, In other words, low QBs tended to have fewer tight end ones coming from that group, 23 versus 36. Mid actually had 41. Isn't that interesting? So it is suspicious, but I applied chi-square and pretty close to the .05, but it was .08. So we have to ignore that. Maybe I need more data down the road. But right now, today, I use the observed versus expected, and I walk away saying no difference. No difference in tight ends here at all on what's going on. So, I just did pull some of the tight ends from the weaker teams here, just for my knowledge, just to kind of see what was there and not. This is the chart. Eh, Nothing that just jumps out at me here. I think just in best ball, I've been drafting Jelani Woods. Uh, Otten's almost a free square. Logan Thomas, he's a free square. So some of those I've gotten, but I didn't see anything really tricky here to invest in. But you could take a look, see what you think of this. Just looking at some of these tight ends from the weaker team by quarterback. Again, looks suspicious. Wanted to take a look at those teams. I just didn't see anything that jumped out. There was a couple that intrigued me. That's it. Okay, this was the end of my deeper predictions here for, and I guess I should change the title. Okay, so I guess I changed the title. Okay, we're having fun. Probably moving on to other research. Stay tuned.